Hello everyone, welcome to the When at Work podcast. You're with your host Julian Leahy. Today I'm joined by the fantastic Cathlene Miner from Florida. Welcome to the show, Cathlene.
Thank you, and thank you for having me. This is awesome.
All right, and Cathlene's been doing a bit of homework, so she knows what to expect. We're going to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and the key to this is if you're not sure, use your lifelines. You've got 3 lifelines, poll the audience, 50-50 split, or you have a 30-second window to quickly Google the answer. Let's get the music on, which you can't hear, which is weird for you. And the first question. Darwin's theory of evolution was supported by observing which of these birds on the Galapagos Islands? Now, this is silly, but the first question is meant to be easy. So, kangaroos, which are not birds, finches, which are birds, chimpanzees, and dodo birds. So the question says Darwin created his theory of evolution by observing which of these birds. So we can rule out 2 already. Do you have any idea?
I'm going to go, I'm going to go with B, finches.
We're going to lock it in. Cathlene's confident. Finches is correct. How did you know that, Cathlene?
Woohoo! Well, you know, when I think of dodo birds, I actually think of the cartoon The Flintstones. Do you remember that? From,
I do remember that show, yeah. After school.
Yeah, so, and I don't know that they were really real, so that's why I ruled that out automatically
Finches
in my head.
Finches sound more real, don't they?
They do. They do.
Well,
I
think dodos were real, but they got extinct. But anyway, Let's continue on. In a tradition inspired by the Bible, a sabbatical leave is usually taken once every how many years? 5, 7, 9, or 10? If you have a sabbatical, you go on sabbatical. How many years? After how many years? I mean, we have long service leave in Australia, which is 10 years.
Okay. You know, okay, so I'm going between 5 and 7, to be honest, because I feel like I've heard both.
Let's do a 50-50 split or one of the other lifelines. What do you think, Cathlene? If you were to guess, what would you guess if you were to pick one?
If I was to guess right now, I would say 7. If I had to guess right now.
Should we lock it in? Confident enough to lock it in?
Yeah.
Locked in.
Okay, let's go with it.
Woo! Well done.
Oh.
And you're saving your lifelines, which is really going to help you as we go further along.
Yes, this is awesome. Done. Okay.
You're doing good. Feeling confident. Okay, in 1820, Maine became the 23rd state in the Union by separating from what other state? Massachusetts, New Jersey, Kentucky, or California?
Okay, I'm trying to see them up there. I know I'm going to rule out Kentucky. I'm going to rule out California.
You could rule those out just by the distance.
In my brain.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
They've got to be nearby to be together with them in something.
They do. I'm trying to go back to my days of, history in high school because I am a U.S. citizen. We were taught these things, I'm sure. So I don't see them. So we're going New Jersey and Massachusetts, correct? Those are my choices.
Well, okay. According to what you said before.
Well, according to my brain.
Yes.
In my brain. Yeah, in my brain.
Makes sense to me. If you were to guess without fear of locking in.
I would say Massachusetts. However, I know that New Jersey is bigger.
Kind of. Is it nearby? Kind of nearby.
They're in the Northeast, not as close, but they are in the Northeast of the United States. I would say that Massachusetts, just from my American perspective, and being on the East Coast, Massachusetts and Maine are more alike than New Jersey. New Jersey's different than both. So I'm going to go with Massachusetts.
And you're going to lock it in?
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't even see them.
No, but my brain was doing a good job here.
Sorry about that. All right, well done.
Okay.
You got that one correct. No lifelines either. You're doing very well. You've got all your lifelines still. All right, let's continue on, and hopefully we can see the answers. Fittingly, the Liberty Bell is featured in the logo of what Major League Baseball team? The Philadelphia Phillies, the Boston Red Sox, the Houston Astros, or the LA Angels? Now, fittingly, that might be a clue. The Liberty Bell is featured in the logo of what Major League Baseball team? The Phillies, the Boston Red Sox, the Houston Astros, or the LA Angels? Where is the Liberty Bell located? Is it a real thing? Like a landmark?
Well, I mean, if you're a baseball fan, and I have to say, I've been to some pretty good, Yankees games and some good games, but I'm not actually somebody that follows this regularly. And my first thought would actually be Philadelphia or Boston, and that's only because typically Liberty, the Bell, things like that might be more common.
East Coast,
Northeast, the New England type areas, as we would call them. So my thought would be Boston Red Sox. That would be what.
I think we should do a lifeline, Cathlene.
I think we should too. So do I get to choose which lifeline I want?
Yeah, you can.
Can I do the Google?
Yes, you can. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Go.
It's not giving.
I'm going to Google Liberty Bell.
And I'm putting, because this would be at a baseball field, Liberty Bell.
Okay.
I'm getting Philadelphia Phillies.
All right, let's lock it in. Philadelphia Phillies. We've used one lifeline, but I think we needed two, and that's correct. Well done. That's the most important thing. You're still alive. You've got two lifelines
still alive. And I was going with one of those two. I knew it had to be somewhere in the Northeast.
Yes, you were. You had a good method for getting to the right answer. Let's continue on. In advertisements, what cosmetics brand promotes itself as easy, breezy, beautiful? Maybelline, Revlon, Covergirl, or Clinique? Let's eliminate some.
Well, I'm thinking Covergirl, but
okay. Should we lock it in?
Easy.
Let's lock it in.
Covergirl, yeah, let's go with it.
Covergirl is correct. Well done. You're at the $1,000 safe zone. How do you know that? Did you remember the ads?
I was remembering from when I was younger. Yeah, I don't really watch much TV at all these days, but I do remember easy, breezy, beautiful Covergirl. That was the whole line.
I remember, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Absolutely. Right. And so that just flows.
I don't remember Revlon, but I just remember Cindy Crawford doing Revlon ads.
Right. And I don't remember Revlon or Clinique as far as like a tagline that would make me remember something. Yeah.
Anyway, you got it correct. Well done, Cathlene. Next question. Before becoming a famous actor who won a televised contest naming him America's Toughest Bouncer. Before becoming a famous actor who won a televised contest naming him America's Toughest Bouncer. Mr. T, Paul Rubens, Sylvester Stallone, or Danny DeVito?
Oh, I have to go with Mr. T because he is he just comes to your mind as a bouncer. You'd want him to be your bouncer.
You would, even now.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Well done.
Whoop, whoop.
Absolutely
Sylvester Stallone could have been a close second. I'm not sure about Danny and Paul, but
definitely not Paul Rubens, who is Pee Wee Herman.
Oh, well, then maybe that's why. And Danny, like Danny, he's just a little small.
Little on the
to
short,
probably be a banter.
small size, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, continuing on.
Okay.
Comedians riffed about talking cars and lifeguards at a 2010 Comedy Central roast skewering what actor? David Hasselhoff, Paul Rudd, Mark Wahlberg, or Leonardo DiCaprio? Comedians riffed about talking cars and lifeguards at a 2010...
Oh, David Hasselhoff.
The Hoff. Lock it in. Is correct.
Whoop,
Of
whoop.
course, the talking cars was... what was that show called?
Something Rider.
That's right. Knight Rider, that's the one.
No,
yes.
Knight Rider.
Yes.
Knight Rider.
And
Yep.
the other one, Baywatch, of course. We can't forget that with Pamela
Yes,
Anderson.
right. But he didn't have a talking car in Baywatch, so yeah.
No, maybe
Yes.
he should have.
He probably should have.
All right. An Al Pacino movie and a Metallica album both share what title borrowed from the Pledge of Allegiance? Kill 'Em All and Justice for All, Master of Puppets, or Death Magnetic? So these are all Metallica albums, but one of them is also a movie starring Al Pacino, and it's also in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And Justice for All.
And Justice for All. Let's lock it in. Well done.
Woo.
Did you have any idea based on the Metallica clue, or mostly the Pledge of Allegiance clue?
Oh, Pledge of Allegiance. I think I
Yeah.
learned that when I was like 2. So
There you go.
yeah,
That paid off.
that's right.
Next question. Contestants for the Scripps National Spelling Bee may not have passed beyond what grade? So there's a limit for the spelling bee. They must not have passed 10th grade, 9th grade, 8th grade, or 2nd grade. So what's the oldest they can be for the Scripps National Spelling Bee, which I have seen on YouTube?
And it's not second. Too young.
No, too young. Yes, I agree.
Too young. And I don't know why you would do it in the middle of high school, which is 9th and 10th. So I want to say 8th because that's the top of what we would call middle school.
Right.
And I'd want to say that that why would you stop it in the middle of a high school grade, and why not go all the way to 12th?
Yes.
So
I like the logic, Kathleen.
yeah, I'm gonna go with 8th grade.
All right, let's lock it in. 8th grade is
Oh,
correct.
whoop, whoop.
Kathleen is on fire. I am a true Kathleen believer. I think you can go all the way with this and make it to the champion round, Kathleen. Next question. Crucial for maintaining balance, the vestibular apparatus is located where in the human body? Pancreas, spinal column, brainstem, or inner ear? Crucial for maintaining balance, the vestibular apparatus is located where?
I'd want to say inner ear. I mean, it's brain or inner ear, but I'm almost positive it's inner ear.
Locking in inner ear. Correct. Well done, Kathleen.
Yes.
$32,000 safe zone. $32,000 in funny money. But more importantly, you've got 2 lifelines left, and you've only got 5 questions to go all the way.
Okay.
According to a well-known expression, a person who is dressed to the nines is wearing what? NFL gear, wet weather gear, clothing for summer, or fancy clothing? Dressed to the nines. What does it mean?
D, fancy clothing.
Fancy clothing. Lock it in. No hesitation at all. And that is correct. Well done, Kathleen.
Whoop.
Look, you really can't go wrong here. You got 4 questions to go. You got 2 lifelines. I would say you're about a 60% chance of going all the way. Let's get into the next question. In 2010, Time.com announced the retirement of Takaru Tsunami Kobayashi, a legend in what field? Baseball, animation, competitive eating, or video game design? Kobayashi. He's commonly known as Kobayashi. Is he a legend in baseball, animation, competitive eating, or video game design? I'm hearing nothing from Cathlene. I think this one could have stumped you.
I'm not. Let me just think though, because I think what wants to come to my mind really is baseball, just because of sports. But
a lot of Japanese people love baseball.
People love baseball. It doesn't sound like a competitive eater to me.
I think it might be wise to use one of the lifelines here, Cathlene.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
50-50 split? Or poll the audience. If you got no idea, poll the audience.
Yeah, let's poll the audience.
Okay, let's poll the audience. Oh, let's wait for those votes to come in. Kobayashi, a legend in what field? Baseball, animation, competitive eating, video game design. Cathlene's thinking maybe it's baseball, but not sure. All right, they're coming in now. So we have A, 18%, which is baseball. B, 18%, which is animation. 46% competitive eating, which is a huge lead. And D is 18%. So the audience believes Kobayashi is famous for competitive eating.
I'm going to go with it then, because I don't know.
You've got to trust the audience, because
I've got to.
They nearly always get it right. Well done.
Woo! Well, now I just learned something new.
You did, Kobayashi, and I believe he would eat like lots of hot dogs, according to one of my sons. Woo! He told me. All right, continuing on.
Holy cow. Okay.
In 2010, an out-of-control Amish teenager led police on a wild 1-mile chase involving what? A horse-drawn buggy, a unicycle, a railway cart, or a Tesla? In 2010, an out-of-control Amish teenager led police on a wild 1-mile chase involving what? Horse-drawn buggy, unicycle, railway cart, or Tesla?
No, it's not a Tesla. Unicycle sounds really hard to get away from the cops.
It does.
I mean, come on. A railway cart would be hard to find and do. I mean, horse-drawn buggy sounds kind of crazy, but I feel like I've heard something like this before.
You may have heard of this particular incident.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was like one of those things that somebody must have mentioned back in the day. I say back in the day because that was 2010, right? So I'm going to go with
13 years ago.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
Crazy.
A.
Yeah.
That is correct. Well done, Cathlene. 2 questions to go all the way, and 1 lifeline left.
Okay.
Let's do it. Chiefly used in the UK, the term serviette refers to what everyday household item? A napkin, a saucer, a metal serving tray, or a lazy Susan? Chiefly used in the UK, the term serviette refers to what everyday household item? Napkin, saucer, metal serving tray, or lazy Susan? If you're not sure... I'm going to say, no, well, let me just say, I have a lot of friends in the UK, and I have one that comes and spends a lot of time here with her family. So I feel like I know more about the United Kingdom in the past probably 9 years than I've ever known in my entire life, which is... Have they ever said, Cathlene, can you pass me a serviette?
Actually, maybe not in that way, but we talk about the differences of what we call things, like a torch and a flashlight.
Yes.
Why would you call it a torch? That is a thing of fire.
Yes,
at least
I agree.
In our eyes, right? So I have to say a napkin.
Let's lock in A. Napkin. Is that a serviette? It is. Well done, Cathlene. I've got actual sweat dripping off me, but it's because it's hot. But I'm also a little bit nervous. And 1 question to go, 1 lifeline to go. So you got a very good chance. Here we go. In 2007, Forrest Whitaker won the Oscar for portraying Idi Amin, the former dictator of what country? Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Congo, or Uganda? Did you see this movie? 2007, Forrest Whitaker portraying...
I feel like I did. However, I'm one of those people, I don't remember like specifics a lot of times of movies.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
I'm like that a bit as well.
So I'm trying to let it come to me of where it is. Because to be quite honest, they all sound pretty similar.
Well, I mean, they're just African countries, and a few of them have had
correct.
So it's a tough one. Who would you be leaning towards?
I really don't know.
Okay.
Right this
Let's do the 50-50 split. I think we need it. And then you've just got a 50% chance. The remaining options are Rwanda or Uganda.
So I'm gonna, I'm gonna go with the way I pick like winners of hockey teams sometimes, which is I go with my intuition. So that's what I'm gonna try here, my gut.
Let's go with the gut.
Right. So, and also we actually help Uganda with some of our nonprofit stuff. So I'm gonna go with Uganda.
Let's lock in Uganda. Uganda is correct. Well done, Cathlene Miner. Kathlene's gone all the way. Great effort. All right, let's turn the music off so I'm not shouting. Well done, Cathlene. That was fantastic.
That was a learning experience. I have now, if I'm ever asked this question,
several of those questions.
I'm going to say, wait a minute. I know that answer.
I know that from when I played Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on a
That's right.
random podcast.
With Julian. Yeah,
Julian,
I know.
Hopefully you remember. And
I will.
We're going to talk about all the cool things you've been doing, Cathlene. So tell us firstly about a little bit about your story and what led you to want to do something interesting, because you sort of felt like you were missing something, I suppose, and wanted to get inspired, and you sort of changed things around a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your story to becoming an entrepreneur.
So, there's so much to our story, and it gets to be more when we get to be a little bit older, right? So I'm going to be 52 in a couple weeks. And so my story gets longer. But, when I really felt like I needed a shift and a change was after I had been a single mom of 2 children, working a lot to make ends meet. And then, as it had it, everything came together. I met this amazing man, and we've been married now for, I guess, about 24 years. And anyway, long story short there, I became a stay-at-home mom, had 2 more children. And so, as most moms can attest, or anybody that ends up going from, a career type field into staying home all the time, you're just like, oh my gosh, what happened to me? Like, where am I? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And so when that happened, I started to kind of put my feet into some different things. So I had already been really loving fitness, into fitness. So I started my own concierge fitness company and would go to these women's houses and bring everything they needed. I'd be able to bring my little kids with me because I have such a huge age gap between our kids. And anyway, so that's kind of where it started. Now, when it went from where I am now is I decided that, I wanted to start a nonprofit, because my mom grew up in a very abusive home. So my grandfather did not only abuse my grandmother, but also all of the children. And my mom had me when she was 15. My dad was 17, and we lived across the street from my grandparents. So as I got older, I realized why we lived there. We lived there so that my mom could help take care of the other younger kids that were mine and my sister's age. So I went on after I had my 4 children and got certified to be a domestic abuse advocate. And once I did that, I started collecting once loved handbags, because my grandmother loved her handbag, and started having people fill it with necessities. And we started donating those back to people that were getting back on their feet from domestic abuse. That's when it started in 2017. So then from there, we started helping with many other things with survivors, and the nonprofit began to grow. So now we are in multiple countries. We are registered in multiple countries. And we have three main pillars. One is our handbags and our Shine and New programs, which help survivors and their children get back on their feet. And then we have our self-defense portion, which I'm very, very passionate about self-defense, always have been, and feel like everybody should be able to have the right and the knowledge to be able to defend themselves. And a lot of it is situational awareness as well, not just the tactics, but we also teach those. So that's something that's open to the entire public, and we do that globally. And then the third portion is our special project. And right now our special project is Kenya, where we are in the middle of being certified for our NGO status, but we are putting in water tanks. We have done 13 so far at rural schools in rural Kenya and the Rift Valley, and also working on toilets. So the way we do this is the money that's raised in each area stays within the areas that the money is raised for, unless it's earmarked for a special project. And with this special project, we also include in the amount that it costs to put a water tank and toilets in labor. And who we are using and we hire on for labor are survivors of domestic abuse, child abuse, and people that can also teach the trade to other people in the community. So that's been absolutely amazing. So that's a little bit about Hopefull Handbags. So then from there, to be inspired in kind of a different way, I did write a book called The 30-Day Self-Perception Makeover. And I did that based on, the stuff that when I grew up, I had an eating disorder in high school. I didn't feel that good about myself, and knowing that the things I thought about were the things that were going to happen. And whatever I thought about myself is really what mattered. We also incorporate that into Hopefull Handbags. So that's just a little bit about the book. But one thing I do want to mention is something that I'm doing now that I really never thought I would do, and how I got there. So I am now the CEO of two tech startup companies, and one which we have just launched recently, and it is the first app that actually is a social site mixed in with a content monetizing site for influencers and content creators. And we make it really easy for you to monetize, because YouTube, you can monetize on YouTube, but you have to have a certain amount of followers. There's so many different things that you need to have to make that happen. And this is a platform where you can monetize right away. Just start sharing out your link. You can charge whatever you would like. You can receive tips. You can charge for messages. So many amazing things in the background. And it also has a blogging system that gets picked up by SEO. So our search engine optimization is right on up there with the best of them as far as reach goes. So we've got all of this combined into one, and is literally the first to ever have this. So I'm really, really proud of this. Something I've been working on for a while. And then another part of that is that we're going to be launching in February is a kids monetizing site. And let me just tell you just really quickly about why I'm so passionate about this as well. And also the other side, it kind of all comes together. I have 4 children, and my youngest now is 18. And when she was just becoming a teenager and COVID was happening and all of this stuff was going on, there were things that went on social media that we found out about the hard way, as far as what was going on and what our kids were seeing. And it's something that really rocked our world. And I can say, luckily, we're okay today. However, it was a lot. It was a lot of, hospital and therapy and things. And it all stemmed once I started doing the research, right? They say, a parent is better than the FBI when they're trying to find something out that has to do with their kids. And so I've been thinking, okay, how do I make online safer for our kids? How do we do this? Because they're going to have access to it. And so we came up with having this kids site, because kids want to share their content as well, right? We're talking about under 18, 17 and under, want to share content as well, but we need to make sure that it's safe for our kids. We need to make sure that there's not going to be an ad that's stuck in the middle that's totally not appropriate for our children. So that's where my passion comes for social media and and starting up these apps and these companies. So one thing, and also educating parents, educating them on things that you don't know unless you need to know them, or you put into a situation where you got to find them out. We just want people to be aware. One thing that I found out was that, and you may already know this, you may already be ahead of the curve, more ahead than I was, that, kids can actually put things on their phones, and there's apps behind apps. So I was the phone checker, right? I mean, all my kids, nobody got a phone before high school. Nobody did. And I let them know I will be checking your phone randomly, just so you know. I'll have to be checked in, parked downstairs, 10 p.m., plugged in, no exceptions. And I was checking the phones, but when I went on the phone, I wasn't really seeing anything. I was like, oh, this is pretty boring. But behind the apps were other apps of things that I had restricted from being on. I told them, no, you cannot be on these things. One being TikTok. I mean, the things that I found in the back of TikTok and the stuff that's really going on that are targeting our kids. And these are things about self-harm. These are things about other people. I mean, it's honestly, it's a huge eye opener. So that is the short story. There's so much more to this, but I want to keep everybody all day, but of why I'm so passionate about these tech startups. I mean, it's really about keeping people safe.
What's the name of the two that you talked about?
Yeah. So the one that's already launched is called ZZ Atom. It's an app, ZZATEM, and it's an app. You can also use it on your desktop. And within there is a platform called ZZ Fans, because we want to kind of also reinvent that word fans. For whatever reason, by some other platforms that are out there, fans has got the notation of, you know, if you're a fan, that means you must be sharing adult content. They must be, I mean, no. I mean, your clients, your customers, your followers, they're all your fans, or else they would not be your clients, customers, or followers. So we want people, we're reinventing that word as well, fans. So you can find ZZ Fans within ZZ Atom right there on the side. Click. Once you make your account, you don't have to make it again. And then you can go back and forth. It is seriously like nothing before. There's also no other video content platform out there that you can monetize on that has video and audio call, so video chat. We have that as well. Like, seriously, I think we've thought of everything. Myself, and I've got some, we have some partners that we work with, and also our CMO. I mean, she's a mom of 6 kids, and she's also runs one of the largest business moms and business platforms in the world, and knows what business does, right? What do we need to make it easier for people that have businesses to be able to get their content out there? Because there's so much out there these days, you can get lost in a sea. We wanted people to be able to go to one place and get it together. The other platform that'll be released in February is called Tuzu. That is literally just for children. And also we have also so everything's going to be verified, meaning for your child to get on there, a parent has to verify them with their ID and the child. So we want to make sure that we're not just getting anybody on there viewing the content, messaging. Parents will be receiving every message that the child also gets on their email, and they'll be also monitoring the account. So this is something that we feel very passionate about as far as keeping our kids safe. So, I don't know what it's like in a lot of the other countries, although we have a lot of people in other countries on board. And of course, we've all gotten their opinions and everything. But, you go on YouTube, put something on for your kids on YouTube, and you have no idea what's going to break in the middle of that and what kind of advertisement that's going to come on for, even if it's 10 seconds, that your kids are going to be like, mom, dad, like they're going to be going to you asking questions, which their brains aren't ready for. They're not ready for it.
Definitely, there is some stuff on there, YouTube and TikTok particularly. I think that is concerning. Yep. So if you're interested in having a look, Cathlene's got a ton of stuff going on. The best place would be CathleneMiner.com. Check out the apps that she's got, and just get in touch with Cathlene. Do you speak to people? Do they have a 30-minute Zoom with you if they want to learn more?
I'll always chat with people. So absolutely. I'm all here to answer questions in any way that I can about the apps, about the nonprofit. Yeah.
Awesome.
Happy to do that.
Well done, Cathlene, first of all, for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You did fantastic. Won the game. And thank you very much for coming on and teaching us about all of the awesome stuff that you're doing. And if you want to get in touch with Cathlene, who is very interesting, I suggest you do so. Thank you, Cathlene, very much. And thanks for listening and watching, everyone. I'm going to wrap things up. See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Cathlene. See ya.